All right, good afternoon, everyone. Today we have a few topics to cover. So the first topic is Reyee RGEG series router. So, as you can see, EG series router is a cloud managed router designed for villas and smart home. It's also used for restaurant, small office, hotel. It's a small and easy and also affordable. So this RGEG series can perform per port VLAN configuration to do port isolation and integrate with the smart flow control to achieve the comprehensive network planning. And also we can we can perform a local or remote network analysis. So pay attention to this diagram because this is a diagram that we're gonna see a multiple of time throughout this training. So today, right now, on the first topic, we will covering the router portion of this diagram. Okay. So after complete this course, you should able to understand the common features of Reyee EG and to master the common configuration of Reyee EG. So first of all, we will get to know of the EG platform. Here we have a number of EG models. Some of it have a Wi-Fi features. Some of it has a PoE features. So you can refer to this link where you can see all the parameter tables. But don't worry, this material I will provide a link for you to download this material. So you can refer to that material, and there's a hyperlink to refer to any EG models. So in order to log in this EG router, there is a eWeb network management system that you can manage and configure the device. Usually you can use your known browser such as Google Chrome. So as you can see in the diagram below, you can access the web using switch and a PC browser. So what you can do is you connect directly your PC to a LAN port of EG router. You can configure your LAN PC as 192.168.110.0/24. So this PC, you can use any IP within this segment except for 110.1, which this 100.1 is a gateway for this EG router. So you may use 110.1 if you are using DHCP, or you can use 10.44.77.254 for static. So the default username and password is admin. So straight from the box, you can use this credential to log in to the device. So once you log in to this device, you can see the main page of the eWeb. So how to set up a EG? First of all, you click setup here, and then you will see the EG main page itself. Here you can see you can manage a router, wireless, switches, and also here you can see the host name, the serial number, the IP, and the MAC address of the EG device. Here you can see the number of menu which we will go through later on. You can see the overview of the EG device, how many memory usage, how many online client, and how long is the status. So you can see the status is online. It is already online for 70 days, and the uptime you can see here. Here you can see the device detail, where it covers the OS number, the role of its in the SON, and yeah, serial number. Lastly, you can see the interface detail of this EG device. So this EG device has 5 ports. As you can see here, only 2 port is up. So if it's solid blue, meaning the port is connected. If it's a solid gray, the device, the port is not connected. So here you can see there is 2 port is connected. So let's go through a simple question, 2 questions. So number 1, what is the default IP address of Reyee EG device? You may try to answer in the chat. Let's see what is the correct answer. I give you another 10 seconds to answer this. Please use chat to answer your question. All right, some says A, some says B, some says A and B. Why no one's answering C and D? All right, so all right, let me change to pen. All right, as we go through just now, we have 2 IP. Is either 192.168.110.1 or 10.44.77.254. So the difference is either this IP is for DHCP or the IP is for static. So if you are using this IP 192.168.110.1, this is for DHCP mode. So A is correct. So, and of course, the static mode is 10.44.77.254. So the answer for this question is A and B. All right, let's move on to the second question. Which of the following description about the indicator light of Reyee EG is correct? So this one you have 4 options of answer. A is off, B blinking green, C is blinking green but faster frequency, and D is solid green. So you may try to answer in the chat. So what's your answer? Is it A or B or C or D, or all is correct or all is wrong? So you can try to answer this question. All right. Anyone else? B and C, all. All right, let's go through one by one. So of course, I think it's if a solid green means that it is connected to Ruijie Cloud. If there's no light, meaning the EG is not receiving any power. And how about B and C? B is blinking green of 0.5 hertz. The EG is running, but not connected to Ruijie Cloud. C is blinking green for 10 hertz. EG is being upgraded or initialized. So for this question, the answer is all correct. So these are the 4 scenario of the indicator lights where you need to, I think, get used to. So A and D is, I think, is known, but B and C is something that you need to understand what during your troubleshooting is whether is it being upgraded or it's not connected to Ruijie Cloud. So it's okay. We have more quiz after this. All right, moving on. So the next one will cover basic function. So in order to set up WAN interface for EG router, you click here under basic and WAN. You may choose whether your WAN link is either PPOE, DCP, or static IP. We will go through one by one how to configure PPOE, how to configure DHCP, and how to configure static IP for WAN interface. So for PPOE is a unified streaming time. It's a dial-up interface. Usually in Malaysia, these are the provider that we have. DHCP is if you obtain an IP address from existing network, and C in the static IP is a customized WAN IP that you can provide from the existing network. So in order to configure PPOE, these are the parameter. Sorry. In order to configure PPOE, these are the parameter. You need to have. You can create a name for this setup. You need to have username and password. And once it's connected, you will be provided IP for this PPOE. Moving on, how to configure DHCP. So you may choose DHCP and you get automatically your EG will be automatically given IP through DHCP. And lastly, for static IP, you may key in the IP, the subnet, gateway, and DNS server manually. So these are the three WAN setup you can configure for internet access. So some EG router has dual line, meaning it has two WAN interface. So with this dual line WAN interface, you can choose whether to have a balance mode, meaning you can spread the internet traffic across multiple links. So for example, WAN 1 and WAN 2, you can set a weight respectively. So in this example, if you set WAN 1 and WAN 2, WAN 0 and WAN 1 as weight is 3 and 2, and respectively the WAN interface will only get 60% of the total traffic, and WAN 1 will get 40% of the traffic. So the second one is where you can choose primary and secondary mode for all traffic. So this is where if the primary fails, then the traffic will switch over to secondary interface. So here also you can configure weight for this scenario. So for a bandwidth guarantee policy, so you can configure a terminal bandwidth to adjust the access bandwidth in order for the end user to get a better network experience. So here you can choose whether is it based on link or based on source IP address. So on the LAN segment, you can add new VLAN and IP network segment. So here, how to add VLAN. So here you go to basic, you can add, and then you get all these pop-up to fill in all the mandatory details. You need to put IP, subnet mask, VLAN ID, and so on, and click OK. So in order to configure VLAN, you need to add the VLAN interface first. So when adding the VLAN, you need the VLAN range that available is 2 until 232 and 234 until 24090. So this VLAN 233 is already occupied, so this VLAN cannot be used. So there are three options for each port: is tagged, untagged, and not joined. For port 0, it is untagged by default, and the VLAN, the default VLAN cannot be modified. But for the rest of the port, only one VLAN can be set to untagged, and the rest can be is either multiple tag or not joined. So what does it mean by untagged? So untagged means that the port does not carry any VLAN tag when sending any packet, similar to having a native VLAN configuration on the switch. Tag means that the packet corresponding to the VLAN sent from the port will carry VLAN tag similar to a non-native VLAN crown port. Whereas not joined means that that port doesn't belong to the VLAN and not participate to forward the VLAN packet, which is removing the VLAN configuring allow VLAN under the trunk. So here you can see the port VLAN interface. Sorry. So here you can see port 0 is untagged. Port 1 is currently online, also untagged. So here you can see on the LAN port, only port 1 is connected. So here it is tagged VLAN 30 for all of the ports. And the default VLAN is untagged for all ports. So for IPTV, the EG device supports single cable transmission for internet data and IPTV data from modem. So usually from provider, it will provide a single link to our from ONU to our router, and then we can provide a dedicated VLAN to a TV setup box. So in this example, you can use VLAN 50. So in order to configure this, you can go to basic and go to IPTV VLAN, and then the VLAN will the GUI will configure the according VLAN. Here is already configured 50, and we can configure one of the LAN only for IPTV, and the rest is for internet. Yeah, so LAN 2 here is defined as IPTV VLAN, and the IPTV VLAN is VLAN 50. All right, and then what you can do is save, and then this EG is ready for IPTV traffic. So another round of quiz. So question 1. So if I don't need VLAN on this EG, I can delete all the VLAN. Is it true or false? All right, good. Everybody says false. So you cannot delete the VLAN, all the VLAN in EG, even though you don't need VLAN. So EG requires the native VLAN in order to work. So you cannot delete all the VLAN. All right, number 2, which are the following to obtain IP address of WAN? This also is quite simple. It's either A, B, or C, or all. All right, some answer A, some answer B. Yes, the answer is A, B, and C, everything. All right, next, we're gonna go through how to diagnose the network using the diagnosis tools here. So as a network check, you can run diagnosis on the managed AP on EG. It's either guest Wi-Fi or any configuration or diagnosis on the AP. So this diagnosis support more than 30 common network anomalies such as DHCP conflicts, negotiation rates, excessive traffic, and so on. So here what we can do here, go to diagnosis, can go to network check, and here you can see, sorry, from network check you can run the diagnosis check to see whether the test pass or not. Here you can see all parameter is okay. So the LAN cable, LAN and WAN cable is okay, the nego speed is okay, WAN port is okay, and DHCP assign is okay. So meaning there's no issue on this network check. Moving on, there's also a network tools built in the EG. You can run ping, traceroute, or DNS lookup. So here you can key in any URL or IP to run tests. You can choose either ping, traceroute, or DNS lookup. So for example, if the EG cannot online to the cloud, you can check the internet and DNS here to see to start troubleshoot. Also here we do have packet capture here. So this packet capture is very useful to see if you want to deep dive in the packet coming into EG router. So these are useful tools. So you can go to diagnosis and packet capture to get to start the packet capture. So this fault collection is another tools that you can do if you are required to collect more information of the EG router and pass it to the R&D for issue resolution. Next, we move on to the advanced function of EG router. So here you can do the bandwidth and the flow control, which is with bandwidth policy. You can adjust the access bandwidth and to make sure the number of users can enjoy a better network experience. So first, you need to set the WAN bandwidth first. So go to advanced, go to smart flow, and then you may set the WAN bandwidth. What is the maximum upload bandwidth? What is the minimum bandwidth, minimum download bandwidth? And also you need to enable this button to make sure that the smart flow control is enabled, and then save. So you may add another features where if you want to share, meaning the all user on this EG is sharing their all the bandwidth, or independent mean each user use the bandwidth. So you may set in this column. So here, this is how you configure either shared or independent bandwidth. So here next, for this one, it is being configured shared. So you can set what is the CIR and PIR. CIR meaning the minimum bandwidth, PIR means the maximum bandwidth. Next is how you access your authenticate to this EG. So first of all, you can configure cloud authentication on cloud to sync with the EG. So then need to check, with the EG eWeb. So you can do here, go to advanced authentication, cloud authentication, and check on this parameter, make sure that this configuration is filled in order to do cloud authentication, and click save. Number 2 is our local authentication, meaning you can set a username locally on the EG device. So here you can set up to 200 account for local authentication. And we may set what is the authorized IP to access the EG router locally. So now the next one is authorized authentication, where you can use pop-up portal with QR code. So you can use this if you want to share using if you want to share access to this EG using QR code. So what will happen is there is a pop-up, and then the client need to scan the QR code, need to authorize. So here, how to configure this? You just there's a pop-up message here. You can fill in the text dengan pop-up. What is the IP allowed to access this device? How long duration that your login duration, and then and then click save. So here, this is the example if the person is logging in via QR code. So what should do is print the QR code first, and then user use the EG, then access the internet after they access the QR code. So this is how you can use QR code in order for the user to access the internet. Next, we can do whitelist, meaning you can this EG router can support whitelist. It's either IP whitelist, URI whitelist, MAC address whitelist, or MAC address blacklist. So here you can key in the URL that you being whitelist. You can kill in the MAC address or MAC whitelist certain MAC address, or whitelist a certain MAC address in this device. So any device with the MAC address in this blacklist won't able to access the one-way access as a client. So here you can see how many user is online, and also you can kill any authenticated user in this page. So click advanced and click online user, and here you can set the client timeout how many minutes, and you can kill here in this table down here. You can tick the name, the username that being online, and click delete to kill the user. So pop mapping is something that you want to do if you deploy a server on the LAN which enable HTTP or other service. So this server private IP address. So when user is unable to access this IP, since this is a public IP, private IP. So in this case, you can use port mapping to allow WAN user to access the LAN servers. So here you can see the IP here is all the same, 10 dot one, sorry, 100.1.1.100. But here is being mapped different port for different kind of server. Here you have HTTP server, Telnet server, FTP server, and OA server. So you can use port mapping. And then how to configure is go to advanced, go to port mapping, and then add. So you may select a name and use the preferred server, what is protocol that being used, what is the IP address, and all these details, and then click OK. And here you can see there is already port mapping for an IP with this internal port number. So this EG router also support DDNS, where it is a map for user's dynamic IP address to a fixed domain name to for a resolution server service. So every time user connect to the network, the client will transfer the IP to respective services. So what will happen is the server will program located the host of the service provider, and it will do a translation to a service. So this also be implementing a dynamic domain name resolution. So how to do this is you click gateway, and click on the device that you want to do DDNS, and then here, and then make sure you enable this toggle, and then you may insert the domain name that you want to put in, and then click save. So this DDNS is suitable if you want to access the intranet server or camera via that domain name, or you want to connect to a VPN server using that domain name, or to log in to the web interface of the device. So here, these are scenario where to access the intranet servers or camera domain name. So you may configure the Reyee device and then map to a certain TCP or UDP ports according to the intranet device. So you click advanced, you click port mapping, and you may fill in is either TCP or UDP. And where this is the example where when you access the an intranet server. So as advanced, there is a no IP DNS. So you may click to advanced, dynamic DNS, and no IP DNS. So you may key in the username and password for this one. So next is for load balancing. So this EG does support load balancing. So the AP send the report of the STA or traffic to the information to the EG. So EG can judge whether to allow access based on the information given to him. Comprehensively consider load balance entire network, and it will make decision based on the threshold that been set or the traffic difference. The AP can adjust whether to allow terminal access according to the EG. So it will respond to the terminal if each reach upper limit or disallow state. So how to configure this? Go to a wireless, go to Wi-Fi, and then load balance, and click add. So once you click add, you can choose either is a base client. So if you choose base client, so both of the client count threshold is set to 3. So meaning for if you have 2 AP and AP1 have 5 clients and AP2 have 2 clients, this will trigger the load balancing. So if there is a new client attempting to associate with client with AP1, so it will be denied because the threshold has been set up to 3, and currently is already AP1 has already 5 clients, so that's why a new client will be denied, and therefore they will associate to the client, we will associate to AP number 2, since AP number 2 has only 2 clients and it is still below threshold. So this is how you configure base client load balancing. So here, this is how you got the load balancing, base client load balancing saved in this configuration. Next is traffic base. So for example, if traffic reach 500 kilobit per second, so the difference between current traffic and the AP traffic will be calculated. So if the AP is lightest load reaches 5 times 100 kilobit per second, the client will associate to another AP in the group. So after 10 times being denied, the client will be allowed to join back the AP upon to the next attempt. So this is how you configure the type of load balancing base traffic. And these are the AP that you choose to be in this AP member. So for an AP, one AP can only support one of the load balancing type. So either you can choose the previous method or you can choose this base traffic load balancing. So we do have wireless intelligent optimization. So this is to automate RF optimization solution for complex or multiple wireless scenarios. To ensure to run this WIO, we need to make sure that all AP is on a version that higher than R55. So is this support for EG dan RAP. So go to wireless, choose AP, make sure that the firmware is higher than R55. So go to network optimization and run the network optimization. Please note that if you do this optimization, there will be some interruption to the client. So it is advised that you run this WIO during nighttime. So this is how they run the scanning of the WIO. This is example where the WIO starts to optimize. So this is a sample of WIO complete. And you also can, sorry. So this is the record of the optimization overview. And these are the details before and after. So this is the result of the WIO. You also can start to schedule this WIO. So it's either you do this manually, or you can schedule this on the weekend. For example, here you can see this WIO is being scheduled on Sunday at 3 AM. So how to access this is go to network optimization, go to here again and schedule optimization, choose your day and time, and then click save. So there is a limitation of this WIO. So WIO is you're able to do WIO if there is a EG in the network. If there is no EG in the network, the WIO is not supported. So if there's no EG in the network, so WIO can only be used if there is a less than 50 APs in the network. If without EG, it requires at least one AP with 1 gig WAN interface, and the 50 APs can be managed at WIO. So WIO can be used when there is a EG. So these are the models that can support WIO. So EG, we have a series of EG here and a series of wireless AP here. Next, we talk about wireless level 3, L3 wireless roaming. So L3 wireless roaming is a process where a wireless client switches from one AP to another AP with the same SSID. Before and after this layer 3 roaming, the client, or at least the VLAN of these two AP is different. So what happened is the client moved to one area to another area with changing VLAN on the AP side, but the IP remains the same. So how to configure this? Go to wireless, Wi-Fi, and Wi-Fi settings, and make sure here you enable layer 3 roaming, and then click save. So this is how you configure layer 3 roaming. So a short one question. So does the EG support Facebook authentication? Is it true or false? All right. So EG does not support Facebook authentication. So the answer for this one is false. So EG router does not support Facebook authentication. All right, moving on. We have a next features, which is VPN configuration. So first of all is the IPsec VPN. This is a secure site-to-site VPN where EG router can support up to 8 branch. So here we have one Reyee router on the headquarters, and we have 8 branches here, all using Reyee router. So here for IPsec VPN, it is able to support up to 8 branch. So how to configure this? Go to VPN, select IPsec, and then you may choose a policy name based on this one. And this is for server. Choose the WAN IP, so the WAN interface and the subnet you want to configure as a VPN. And there's a pre-shared IP here you need to set. And then this IPsec, we do support IKE policy. These are the IPE policy by default is already here. So we need to make sure IPsec server and IPsec client has the same IKE policy. This also is a connection policy. And here, how to configure on the client side. So the steps are the same. Just now we choose server. Now we choose client. Okay, choose a peer gateway. All these parameter you need to fill in. And also the IKE policy is the same. Should be similar to the server side. And also the connection policy has to choose this parameter. So once it's configured, you can see the status of the IPsec. Here you can see the tunneling in and out is the status is okay. So just now was on the server side and this is on the client side. So the IPsec tunneling from end to end is connected. So we also able to support L2TP server. So go to VPN, choose L2TP. You may fill in all the parameter required here. And this is to choose the VPN client. You can set a password for L2TP client. And these are the configuration for L2TP. So you need to key in the the username, password, and all the server information required. So here, once it's being configured, these are the status at the server side. You can see these are the tunnel lists, and these are at the client side. You can see the status under the tunnel list. So for this IPsec, for this VPN section, which of the following option describe correctly about VPN? So please take your time. I think I give you a minute to answer this. So please choose your answer. Is it A, B, C, or D? Okay, let's go through the answer one by one. So A, the IPsec VPN configuration, the policy name, client and server must be the same. Otherwise, the condition will fail. So for IPsec VPN, it is not required to have the same name for client and server. What is important is the IP and the authentication key. Number 2, for data security, we can use both PPTP VPN, IPsec VPN. Actually, you only can choose either one. It's either you use PPTP VPN or IPsec VPN. So A and B is wrong so far. So you can see we need to choose which one is correct. So C, in the configuration IPsec VPN, we can configure IKEv2 to enhance security. And D, we can establish IPsec VPN between Reyee EG and Ruijie EG router. So between C and D, the correct answer for this question is D. You can establish IPsec VPN between Reyee EG and Ruijie EG router. So C, this is by default require. It's not, I think the answer C is wrong. So the answer is D. So for this one, it's not a multiple answer. So the answer is D. All right, moving on to the next one is basic troubleshooting. Sorry, enterprise security. So here you can configure the IP MAC based access control. So here you can choose to have a up list of the client connected. You can bind them, or you can do MAC filtering, where you can choose either to blacklist the MAC in the list. So for bandwidth guarantee, you can adjust intelligently according to access bandwidth and number user. So you can choose either to block certain internet signature here. So for example, here you can see the IP client that you set, the time is weekdays, and during this time, the client won't able to access any video or shopping app using who are client that using this EG router. So you're able to use app control on this router. So here you can see the IP group, the time is weekdays, and is blocked video and shopping, and this status is enabled. So you also can filter a website. So you can block a website during any time of the day, and you can choose the client that you choose to have to block. So in this case, this group of user won't able to access any shopping website during weekdays. So this is example on how you able to block. Three things you can do here. You can do MAC address control. You can do application control, and also you can use website control. So you can manage your client usage either through their MAC address or through the app that they are using or the through website that they are visiting. So these are the control, or I would say the enterprise security that you can implement in this EG router. So last is our troubleshooting segment. So first of all, what should we do if the IPsec VPN fail? So usually this the cause is the IKE and the connection policy. So we have to make sure that the policy is the same between server and client. And number two is the shared key is not the same. So we have to make sure that the shared key is same between the client and the server. And D, the VPN server is under NAT. So what we can do is, as a solution, we can check whether the configuration on the server and client. And number two, check the preset key is configured correctly on both server and client. And C, in order to make sure that the VPN is under NAT, to make sure that the port mapping for UDP 500 and 450 can be changed to local ID from IP to name. So these are the solution that we can use if the IPsec VPN fail. Second symptom is if the IPsec VPN succeed, but HQ and branches cannot access each other. So these are probably the sub-network configuration issue or the MTU configuration. So what we should do is we have to check whether the VLAN or the sub-network configuration on the HQ and branches. Make sure the VLAN is configured properly, or the network segment is used properly, and change the MTU of the EG WAN to 2000 to 1200. So these are the two things that you can do if the IPsec VPN is connected, but both HQ and branch cannot access each other. So first, check the sub-network configuration on both HQ and branch, and change the WAN MTU to 1200. So I think that's it for EG router. Next one, I think we can take a break first for about 5 minutes, and then we will continue for the next topic. So let's have a break for 5 minutes. Thank you.
Father told me when I was just a child, these are the nights that never die. Father told me. Never thought that I would find a way out. I never thought I'd hear my heartbeat so loud. I can't believe there's something left in my chest anymore. Oh God, damn, you got me in love again. I used to think that I was made out of stone. I used to spend so many nights on my own. I can't believe I have it in me to dance anymore. Oh goddamn, you got me in love again. Show me the heavens right here, baby. Touch me so I know I'm not crazy. Never have I ever met somebody like you. Used to be afraid of love and what it might do. But goddamn, you've got me in love again. 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 Again. So many nights my tears fell harder than rain. Scared I would take my broken heart to the grave. I'd rather die than have to live in a storm like before. Oh goddamn, you got me in love again. Show me the heavens right here, baby. Touch me so I know I'm not crazy. Never have I ever met somebody like you. Used to be afraid of love and what it might do. But goddamn, you've got me in love again. 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 Again. I can't believe I finally found someone. I'll sink my teeth in disbelief, cause you're the one that I want. I can't believe I'm not afraid anymore. Oh goddamn, you got me in love again. La la la, 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 la la la. I never thought that I would find my way out. I never thought I'd hear my heartbeat so loud. I can't believe there's something left in my chest anymore. Oh goddamn, got me in love again. La la la, la la la. I can't believe I finally found someone. I'll sink my teeth in disbelief, cause you're the one that I want. I can't believe there's something left inside my chest anymore. Oh goddamn, you got me in love again. Got me in love again. You've got me in love again. You've got me in again and again and again and again and again.
Hello, now only 30 people already checking in our meeting. They have 42 people, so still get some people not yet checking. After you checking, we will send you a exam in your e-learning account according to the checking email. So please use your Ruijie Cloud to scan this QR code to check in. Or if you not yet have Ruijie Cloud, please download. But if there still has some problem, you can click this link I'm going to share in the chat box. You can click this link to check in. Okay, so the link I already shared in the chat box. You can also use this link to check in. Okay, now still only gets 30 people checking. Okay, Aman is ready to continue the training.
All right, I'll continue for the second section.
Okay.
All right, so the second section is switch. So here I'll be covering the Reyee switch series. So here, as we can see, the Reyee switch is designed for all business size. So we do have unmanaged switches, or we do have smart L2 switches, which can provide small and medium-sized business. We also have L3 managed switches to provide scalable and stable solution for large organization, campus, and for ISP network. So you can see here, we have the same network diagram. So here today, we will discuss on the switch portion of this diagram. So after completing this course, you should be understand the common features of Reyee switch and master the common configuration of Reyee switch. So here you can see we do have two series, our NBS switch and our ES switch. We do have the unmanaged switch, which is the ES series, and we also have the L2 or L2 plus smart switch, which is the NBS switch. So what is the difference between NBS and ES? So you can see here, ES usually is to connect to terminal or such as SS switch. Compared to ES, MBS has a better and higher performance and support more function. So you can see the difference here. ES switch has a basic features. So it's a L2 switch which supports web-based management, and we can create up to 16 VLAN on ES switch. It do support PoE for ES switch, but there's a caveat between for certain model where it does not support PoE. But for NBS, you can see it has a lot of features. Is a L2 or L2 plus switch, and it support STP, RSTP, static aggregation, IGMP snooping, and so on. You can see the features is a lot more compared to ES. So here we'll go through the NBS switch configuration. First of all, there are two ways configuration how to access or how to log in to NBS switch. Option one is you log in to the NBS switch through master. For example, is EG device of the SON network. SON is something that I will cover later, but just bear in mind that there is a two-way accessing or to log in to the NBS switch. You can see here, the EG is currently master. And you click switch, and you can see there is an NBS in the SON. So on the second option is you connect your PC directly to the LAN port of the NBS. So you can see here the IP is the same as before, where you can set your LAN segment is as this segment, and you can use any IP for your PC except for 77.200 because this is the NBS default IP. Once you log in, you'll be able to see this dashboard. So here you can see the basic information of that NBS switch. You can see the host name, the MAC address, serial number, what is the IP address. Here, there's a set of menu where you can explore the function of MBS switch. And here you have the basic information of the MBS switch. You can see the the software version, the duration that it has been online, the serial number, and what is the working mode right now. So here you can see the working mode is SON. And last, you can see the port number info. So here you can see there is about 24 port of LAN, and only one port is online, up. So here you can see GI 13 is up, and GI you see is all disconnected. So there's no information of the connected interface. So on this table, you can see the port number, what is the rate, is it be connected or disconnected, the speed, the current packet bandwidth, if there is any CRC or corrupted packets or any conflict, you can see from this menu. To configure this port, there is a basic settings that you can set. Go to this menu, ports, go to basic settings, and choose any of the port that you want to configure. Click edit, and from here you can set the status enable, you can set the rate auto, you can set the duplex mode and the flow control. Once you set these parameters, click OK. So PoE is the name of how we allow power to go through the UTP, so to power up the device. So this is a way for us to power up device using UTP. For example, PoE camera, PoE phone, PoE switch, and access point. So if you use this PoE, the maximum distance for this UTP cable is 100 meter. However, NBS does support long distance PoE. So you can do up to 200 meter of UTP cable to support PoE. However, if you choose this method, the port rate will be reduced to 10 megabit per second. So at the same time, you use the power of 8 core. So it will consume a lot of power. So if you want to use this, since it's only 10 megabit per second, so if you use PoE camera, you won't able to get HD or Ultra HD quality because the link is only 10 megabit per second. So next is how to apply VLAN application. So for example, we do have 5th and 6th floor in a building. So in that building office, there is a technical department and finance department. So what customer require is that department can communicate each other, but they are required to be isolated between floor. So to meet this requirement, we use VLAN division. So the purpose of VLAN is to control unnecessary broadcast. So it will improve the network bandwidth utilization and reduce waste of resource. So it also can divide different user of group and restrict access between groups to increase security. So VLAN stands for Virtual Local Area Network. So it's a one physical switch, which so it's a one physical interface that you can configure. It looks like a one switch, but you can configure a multiple logical switch. So each logical switch is connected as a local LAN network. So it's called a VLAN. So each VLAN has its own broadcast domain, and VLAN also can isolate broadcast and reduce broadcast domain. So this VLAN is a logic-based grouping, which you can group by business or by function. It is not limited to a physical location, so it's a more flexible networking. So users that use a different VLAN need to use a L3 device to communicate. So as a standard, VLAN carry the data frame of in order to carry a data frame of multiple VLAN in the interconnected cable, the way that is discussed the data frame, VLAN is required lah. So the switch uses VLAN tag to distinguish Ethernet frame of different VLANs. So here they use 8021Q to specify the VLAN tag information and tag format. So here you can see the Ethernet frame is being tagged with VLAN 10, and here the Ethernet frame is being tagged with VLAN 20. So the switch port type, there's two switch port type. Is either is a switch port access or trunk. So access port can belong to only one VLAN, and that frame does not carry any VLAN tag. So generally it's used to connect to a PC. So trunk port allows multiple VLAN pass through. The frame that has been sent generally is tagged as VLAN. They're used to connect between switches. So as a standard package, you can see the TPID value is fixed to 0x8100, which indicate that the frame carries 802.1Q marking. So here, under the TCI tag control information, there is a few information that can be stored here. One is the VLAN ID. So it's a 12-bit VID. So what does 12-bit means? So 12-bit means is a 2 to the power of 12. So if you calculate here on calculator, it should equals to 4096. So this is where you get the number of VLAN here. So here, the available VLAN range available is 1 until 4094. So this is a unique VLAN. So as a priority, this is for QoS, is a 3-bit. So if it's a 3-bit, so it's a 2 to the power of 3. So it is 8. So you can see here the priority is 0 until 7. So this is 8. So here 0 until 4095. So it's 4096 total. So lastly is a canonical format indicator is only 1 bit. So it's only two numbers. So this is nothing special. So this is it's either Ethernet, FDDI, or token ring. So how to configure VLAN on NBS? So first of all, you can choose this, go to this NBS dashboard, choose VLAN. You can choose any VLAN that you want to edit. Note that this is VLAN 1. You can add more VLAN here. You can add VLAN 22 and put a description to put a name on top of this VLAN ID. So here it is a mandatory number that you have to put. So here the VLAN that being configured is VLAN 22 and belongs to IT department, and then click OK. And what you can do, you can assign this new VLAN to ports. So under port list, you can batch edit. So what you can do is you can select the port that you want to put as access port VLAN 22. So once you choose which port you want to assign to VLAN 22, click OK. So here you can see this port is being assigned as access port VLAN 22. Next, you can apply ACL on the NBS switch. So it's a basic VLAN and routing configuration of access switch, aggregation switch, core switch, and PC inside and outside. So you can do ACL in between on the switch itself. So this is to control the interaction individual data without affecting the whole traffic. So for example, by default, finance department can talk to technical department, but you can make more restriction where, for example, let's say PC connected port number 2 and PC connected port number 3 is being blocked. You can block this. So how we do this is, you allow the server to access the PC number 1. You can allow PC server to access PC number 3 on different floor. And you can block this one. PC number 2 to PC number 2 on different floor, you can block this. So how do we do this? Is we go to security, we choose ACL, and then you add. Here you define a name of the ACL first, and then you choose whether you want to block based on IP address or based on MAC address. Here is being chosen as based on IP address. Then click OK. Here you have new ACL based on IP address, and currently it's not active. You can edit this. You can whether allow or block on this ACL. You can define the IP that you want to allow to on this ACL, and then click save. So what you can see is the ACL here is being updated with the IP source that you configured, and destination is all, and the protocol number, IP protocol number is all. So how you bind the ACL to interface is on the ACL binding menu, click edit, and then you can choose which ACL that you want to use. So here is being configured, the ACL is IP based ACL, IT ACL, and click OK. So you can see here GI4 is being tagged with, is being bind with IT ACL. Yes. So you can see this is how you configure ACL on NBS switch. Next, you can do port isolation. So port isolation is to achieve layer 2 isolation between packet. A different port can added based on different VLAN, but different limited VLAN resource will be wasted. So with port isolation features, you can isolate between port between the same VLAN. So user need to add the port isolation group to achieve layer 2 isolation between port in the isolation group. So with this port isolation, it provides user a safer and more flexible network solution. For example here, if you enable the port isolation between port 1 and port 3, even it is on the same VLAN. So here you can see all these PC of technology department is currently on VLAN 10. But if you configure if you configure port isolation, these two PC cannot communicate normally. So how we do this? First of all, go to this NBS dashboard, click on the security menu, go to port protection, and you can enable the port isolation, which one that you want to isolate. So here we choose port number 3 to be isolated, and there's a pop-up to confirm whether that you are sure to isolate this port. If you're sure, click OK, and this port will be isolated. So currently port number 3 is already isolated. So the next features is DHCP server application. So DHCP stands for Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol, which is a network protocol for LAN. So it refers to a certain IP range which is being controlled by the server. So this client will obtain IP address and subnet given by this DHCP server. So this NBS server is already support dynamic allocation for DHCP7. So how do we configure DHCP? So you can configure this via the eWeb. So note that only the NBS 5000 series can support these features. So what we can do is go to L3 interface, go to DHCP on the port type, enable this DHCP and click OK. So you can configure DHCP server from NBS 5000 series. So we do have DHCP snooping application. So as a background, DHCP function a gateway of this user campus network gets its IP from this DHCP server. At the same time, there is I would say a rogue DHCP server or illegal DHCP server on this access switch. So in order to DHCP process to be complete, it require a DORA process. So DORA stands for discovery, offer, request, and acknowledge. So DORA. So what happened is sometimes the server sends a discovery. So a PC send a discovery to the server. And what happened is the server will offer back to the PC. But since there is an illegal DHCP server, sometimes when PC should send the request back to the server, it send back to this server and being acknowledged back to the PC. So what happened here is, for example, in order this PC to go to internet, it requires 10.x.x IP, which be given by this DHCP server 10.x.x.x. But since there is a rogue DHCP server which are giving a different set of IP, so for example, this DHCP server, this illegal DHCP server is giving 192 IP. So what happened is, when the DORA process is being interrupted, this PC will get 192 IP, which cause the user unable to get to internet because it gets a different IP. So in order to this PC to go to internet, it requires 10 IP, but somehow when there is a when there's a rogue DHCP server, it get a different set of IP. So in order to solve this problem, you can use DHCP snooping. So how we configure this? All right. How do we configure this? All right. Okay. So go to security, click DHCP snooping, and then make sure toggle this DHCP snooping, and then confirm that you want to enable DHCP snooping. So you have to choose which port that you trust as a DHCP server. In this case, port number 6 is being chosen as a trusted port. So once you choose port number 6, click save. So when this happens, it will only trust any DHCP coming from port number 6. So if just now the illegal server is connected to a different port, so it won't be trusted. So it won't use that DHCP request coming from that port. It only gets the DHCP request that coming from port number 6. All right, moving on. How do we configure link aggregation? So in order to meet data interaction between server, the core need to have a higher bandwidth. And higher bandwidth, you also, it's either you can configure a higher bandwidth or a redundancy link. So usually the physical number between link can be increased. So you can have 2, 3, or more than that lah, to increase the bandwidth in between core. So when the SDP is enabled, the redundant link will be blocked by the spanning tree, and then it will reduce the redundancy link lah. So in order to achieve that, we use link aggregation to combine a multiple connection in parallel, so that to increase the throughput, and to provide the redundancy in case one of these link fails. So how do we configure this? Is go to ports, go to aggregation ports, and then you can choose load balance through source and destination MAC, and the number of aggregation port, and choose the member of that port. So here is been chosen port 3, port 1, and port number 4. So once you select the port member, click save. So this 3 member is being assigned as aggregate 7. So just to as a note that MBS 3000 series, you can create up to 8 aggregate ports, where the others you can configure up to 16 port of aggregation. So next is a red limit function, where the purpose is to protect by limiting the concurrent access or request in the time window. So once the limit is reached, so the service will be denied and shaping is performed. So how do we configure this? Is we go to ports and then go to rate limit, and then patch edit. And here you can choose the port that you want to do the rate limit, and choose the transmit rate or receive rate that you want to limit, and then choose OK. So here you can see port number GI21 is being rate limit for 2000 kilobit receive and transmit. So next is the IGMP layer 2 multicast. So with continuous improvement or development of datacom technology, the traditional services cannot meet the current requirement or for people's need of information. The multi-point service right now for radio on demand, IPTV, video conferencing is widely being used. To solve this point-to-multi-point communication, this can be realized through unicast or multicast. So for unicast, is being sent from select several target hosts, and the source sends several data packet. So for example, here you can see, or for unicast, the host sends several target. You can hear there's a 3 here, 3 arrow here, and being distributed to 3 different destination. So you can see here there's a 2 here, there's 1 here. So here for unicast is a several target from the host. But for unicast is no matter how many hosts, the source is only sending 1 packet. So multicast, 1 packet will be duplicated throughout the network until it reaches the destination. So how do we do this is between the host and router, we need to deploy IGMP protocol to complete the normal forwarding. So these are the global parameter. Go to L2 multicast, select global settings, choose the IGMP version, and any unknown will discard, and then choose save. And then you can see here, yes, here currently is being set as a IGMP token. So this mechanism is needed to allow the layer 2 switch only forward multicast data to the host that need to receive multicast. So IGMP snooping enables the layer 2 switch to forward the data only to the port of the user that need to be received. So other user which not require that data won't be affected. So it won't flooded all the same information to everyone. So it's only send the multicast data to the user that needed. So here you can see IGMP is enabled and you can edit here. So here you can see how this 4 port is being chosen. Port number 5, 7, 6, and 8. And then press OK. So the next one is storm control application. So when there is an excessive broadcast of multicast or unknown unicast data in the LAN network, network speed can be decreased and the packet transmission timeout will greatly increase. So this is a LAN storm, which may caused by topology protocol execution error or incorrect configuration. So user can perform storm control separately for the broadcast, multicast or unknown unicast data flow. So if this unknown packet receive on a specific rate, so a specific either packet per second, kilobit per second, or transmit packet on the specific rate. So this is you can discard that threshold so that the packet rate become normal. So we will avoid the data flooded into your network. So how to configure this is you choose security, storm control, and then batch edit. Then you can choose the broadcast bandwidth that you want to allow. Here is being set 1000k bps for broadcast, unknown multicast, and unknown unicast. And you can choose the port that you want to protect and then click OK. So you can see here this port is under the storm control policy. Yeah, these two is being protected for any unknown data coming in. So next is STP. So this is a phenomenon where you want to prevent loop or the MAC address. You want to the MAC address table is flapping. So when this happen, it will cause the switch to fail due to resource exhaustion. So the hazard of network loop is a link congestion, where those broadcast package are flooded into the network, and all link is being flooded with a large broadcast packets. And when this happen, the host or the server, the host or the switch will be respond slowly because it's being entertaining a large number of broadcast packet. So CPU resource will be used a lot. So that's why the whole system will be slow. So the layer 2 switch also will be unable to manage because of slow. Same thing happen. The CPU is very high and a lot of wastage happen on this switch. So what happened is this will be impact on the CPU of the gateway device. The up request will be flooded to the gateway IP address, and then it will be continually flooded and forwarded into a loop. So it will continuously send to the gateway device. So at the same time, at the end, the CPU of the gateway is under pressure. So eventually, the CPU will be increased, or even the CPU of the gateway will crash. So as a solution, we can deploy spanning tree protocol on switches, which logically we will block the loop interface. So in event that the physical failure, the redundant link can resume in forwarding the packet. So how do we configure this? Go to advanced, go to STP, and then we enable this toggle, and then fill in this data. Usually this is a default parameter, and then click save. So these are the features that I described to you, which enable in NBS switch. Then moving on, I will describe on the ES switch. So how do we log in to ES switch?
Saya connect betul ke tak betul, saya pun tak tahu macam mana nak tengok.
So how do we connect to, or how do we log in to ES switch? So number one is you log in through SON, and then you click to switch and manage this ES switch. Number two is you access through the LAN port of the PC, of the ES, and use the IP to access directly to the ES switch. So these are the overview of the ES switch. You can see there's a system information here. This is the menu that available on the ES switch: system info, basic settings, and upgrade. There's a port information on which are connected, which are PoE. You can see here port number 2 is PoE. Port number 6 and 7 is connected. And these are the information of the basic information of the ES switch, and these are the information that you can access. So basic port configuration is, you can click here, basic settings, choose port settings. You can edit the port number and how do you want to change the speed or duplex mode. Then you can see here, once the changes have been made, it's been updated on the table down here. So the working principle of VLAN is the same as MBS, but the VLAN settings on ES switch is being disabled by default. So how to see this, to enable this, is you have to click here to enable the VLAN. And then you add the VLAN member. So here you define VLAN 10 under basic settings, VLAN member, then insert the VLAN ID, and then it will be saved here, VLAN number 10. So it is confirmed that VLAN 10 has been added. So you can add the VLAN member into the ports in the ES switch. So go to VLAN settings, go to this port that you want to add, choose the VLAN number that you want to associate to, and click save. Yeah. You can see here, port number 5 and number 4 is being associated with VLAN number 10. So here also you're able to use port isolation on ES switch. So port isolation is by default disabled. So you can enable it by choosing basic settings, port isolation, and enable this toggle, and it will be confirmed that it is being configured or it is being enabled. So rate limit also, you can choose for a specific speed, for a specific port with a transmit speed. So go to basic settings, choose rate limit, and select the port that you want to configure. You can choose which port you want to rate limit. So lastly, this is the most frequent asked question. So number 1, what is the default IP of the Reyee switch? So the default IP of Reyee switch is 10.44.77.200. So does the NBS switch support LACP? Unfortunately, NBS only support static aggregation. So does a Reyee device support telnet or console? So Reyee device does not have console or telnet. It only support web management. So these are the most frequent asked question on this ES series. So I think that's it for ES switch. Let's take 5-minute breaks before I move to wireless. Thank you.
Alma, so now is another part or?
Yeah, there'll be another part. So let's take a break first before we move on.
Okay, sure.
Hello, everyone. Let's continue with our next topic, which is wireless. So, uh, Reyee series wireless is a cloud managed access point with a higher performance for indoor, outdoor, or wall scenario. So it is compliant with 802.11 AC Wave 2 Wi-Fi protocol. It's a cloud managed series which support MU, MIMO, dual stream technology. It's an industrial product design, so it's a simple and simple to install and maintain. So as we can see, this is the same diagram that we've seen throughout today. So this segment will cover this access. This is this segment AP access point. So after complete this course, you'll be able to understand all Reyee wireless device and master the common configuration of Reyee wireless device. So here you can see the product line of Reyee wireless product. We have RGAP, which is the wireless access point. We have Reyee EGETS, which is the wireless bridge device, and we have Reyee EGEW, which is a mesh router. So these are the mesh router. EST is the wireless bridge. AP is the access point. So in the wireless LAN working component, we do have station. So station is the device that support 802.11, such as PC, wireless card, mobile phone. So this is also called as STA. Access point is the AP that provide 802.11 MAC frame into a wired network frame, which equivalent to the wireless extension to a wired network. SSID is the service set identifier, which can divide a wireless local area network into a several sub-network, which require different authentication. So a wireless medium can consist of two physical layers. So in the 802.11, there is a two RF physical layer, which is 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz. So the infrared is the physical layer. So the WLAN is using the ISIM frequency band 2.4 gigahertz and 5.8 gigahertz. So ISM is an industrial, scientific, medical reserved for industrial, scientific or medical equipment. So this frequency band is the no license required. So they have three different frequency band. So here is the wireless network. So this is just a brief introduction of the wireless frequency band. So here you can see there is a IEEE 802.11 protocol family, which have 802.11a, 11b, 11g, 11n, 11ac, then and 11ax. So you can see here 11a only have 5 gigahertz of frequency band, and also 11ac 5 gigahertz. The channel number is only 13 for 5 gigahertz. For the frequency band, which only have 2.4 gigahertz, is 11B and 11G, and the channel number is only 3. So we do have two frequency band which two protocol family which have a mixture or combination of two frequency band, which is 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz. This is dual band frequency which have two different channel number. So channel number 3 and 13 for 11N and 11AX. So these are the frequency band and these are the channel number. So, sorry. So in this frequency range, this is for 2.4 channel. There is a 14 channel divided. So each center of the channel is 5 megahertz, and in between each channel is 20 gigahertz. So shown above, the center of this is 2.412 gigahertz. Center of 6 is 2.437, and center of 11 is 2.62. So these are theoretically non-interfering channel. So this is how you get a non-interfering channel, since this channel is not overlap with each other. So for 5 gigahertz channel, the spacing is 20 megahertz, sorry, and the channel width is 20 megahertz and centered by 10 megahertz. So in addition to the 5 channel here, there is this 5 channel is configured for domestic Wi-Fi device. In the 5 gigahertz band, the 8 channel of 36, 40, 44, and so on is open. So that's why the 5 gigahertz frequency band has a total of 13 non-overlapping, which non-overlapping channel, which each channel is 20 megahertz. So next, we would see how to configure an AP. So an AP series, first of all, you can access either through SON. So step 1, log in to the master, choose wireless, and manage AP. And number 2 is you can access the AP directly by using a cable network, using either the 192 AP or the 10.44 AP. So this is how you set your initial setup. So these are the overview page. You can see the information here, the model number, the host name, serial number, the menu that available for this model, the overview of the device, which have the online client, the uptime, and the total memory usage. In the device details, you can see, in the device detail, you can see the software version and other information that you can see similar to the previous series. You can see here the Wi-Fi currently is being connected, is being configured, and there's no security. So this is an open Wi-Fi, and you can see the WAN interface of this AP is connected. So these are the Wi-Fi information. These are the information, the interface details. So in order to configure the LAN configuration, choose basic and LAN, and then enable the VLAN. So click OK to enable the VLAN, and then click the add button to add a VLAN. So here you choose VLAN number 10 and you mark it as a VLAN for client. Click OK. So what happened is you can see there is a VLAN created here with the remark as a VLAN for client. So next you can choose a port to assign to the VLAN. So choose port VLAN, choose VLAN 10. You can choose whether to join or not to join. So you can select the VLAN action once you choose or once you created a new VLAN. So a Reyee AP can be divided to a different group. So for you have different settings. So to create a AP group, go to AP, select, click expand, and then you can create a new group, or in this case it is created customer group, and then click OK. You can see there is a new customer group, and then you can move this AP, select this AP, select batch action, and change group. You can change to a customer group, and then select OK. So what we see is this is how do we configure a Wi-Fi configuration. So here select Wi-Fi, choose Wi-Fi settings, choose device group is default, and choose the SSID. Here you can expand. You can see here you can choose the SSID number, choose the band that you want to choose, the frequency band, and security, and the password you can choose. And then you select expand, and you can choose is either you want Wi-Fi 6 or you want to do an AP isolation, and then click save. So if you want to configure a multiple SSID, so choose from the default group, you can add them into a SSID. So add a new SSID, IT department, and then you can create a new IT department here. So you can blacklist a device which connected to your AP, or you can whitelist a device, which means blacklist you will block that device to access your network, or you whitelist you only allow that device in that list. So to configure this, choose wireless, blacklist or whitelist, global blacklist, whitelist, and add. So here you may add the MAC address or the prefix OUI. Once you fill in this information, click OK, and you can see the blacklist. You also can choose blacklist or whitelist based on the SSID. So choose again blacklist, whitelist, SSID, blacklist, SSID based blacklist, whitelist, and choose the SSID that you want to create a blacklist or whitelist. And then you can create here, same as before, key in the MAC address of the full or prefix OUI, and then click OK. So here there is a feature where you can turn off or turn on the LED. Sometimes the LED of the AP can be distracting. So what you can do is you can disable the LED to be turned off. So what you can do here is go to LED, choose this, you can enable or disable the LED. Next is to configure our EW series. Our EW series is a mesh AP which a zero configuration networking for a multiple device. So it supports seamless roaming, dead zone killer, and signal amplifying offering for a strong signal. So it's also support Ruijie Cloud Management. You can operate and maintain it remotely via app. So here, this is how we configure mesh. In this case, how do we configure wired mesh? So here you can see by default, the EW1200G Pro is enabled with mesh. So when the WAN is connected, so these are the things that we require to create a mesh. So when the WAN port is connected, it will automatically define as uplink, and the LAN port. So this, if this happen, so this router will change from route mode to mesh mode. So once it recognizes there is a LAN port connected, and it will automatically connect to device after the device is turned on after 5 minutes. So what you can do is you turn on all the EW for 5 minutes, connect the WAN port and connect the LAN port to each other, and then the mesh will be created. So for wireless mesh, there is a few conditions that you need to meet. So these are the master and these are the slave. So for the master, it requires to meet few conditions. So the master need to finish the quick setup and the WAN port must be connected. So the WAN port must be connected and it finish the basic setup. So for the slave, it needs to have, it requires to factory state. So you need to factory default this slave, and this slave is within 3 meters from the master and unobstructed. So there should be no any blockage between the slave and the master, or the signal must be -33 at least. So once these two conditions be made, both master and slave must be on. So what we can do is, first of all, press the reset button on the master, and this indicator light will be flashed quickly. So after 1 to 3 seconds, the slave also will, the LED will flash quickly. So after a while, the LED slave will be always on, and it indicates that the wireless mesh is a success. So after you already set up this mesh, you can move it to the place that require, as long as the indicator stays on. So once you configure this, you can move this slave mesh to the place that you want to set up. Next is the wireless mesh features. So as a wireless mesh, it is automatically switched between wired and wireless. It is automatically switched between wireless backhaul or after wired access, and it was also automatically to wireless backhaul after unplugging the network cable. Meaning, if you have this configured as wired mesh. If you disconnect this wired interface, it will be auto switch to wireless mesh. So wireless mesh self-discovery is happen if one of the mesh member power off or lost or unresponsive. So what happened is it will switch over to a different member. So let me draw this. So what happened here, these are the flow of the mesh. So what happened here, if this mesh is not available and this mesh is disconnected through the master. So what will happen is it will self-recovery through it this way. So this is a features wireless mesh self-discovery. Next is how do we log in to the eWeb series. So you can access it through the wired cable through the IP of the eWeb series. So you can use this 1 and 2 IP to access the eWeb series by connecting to the LAN port. So these are the main page of the eWeb series. So here this is the main dashboard of the eWeb. You can see these are the top menu, the basic information. Is it connected to internet? Is it have a client? The device detail, which consists of MAC address, serial number, and firmware version, and the Wi-Fi information, whether there is what is the SSID and the security available. And here you can see the interface detail where the WAN port is connected. Here you can see the how do we configure the DHCP. So it's same as before. It will auto discover and being assigned by IP. If we click more, you can see the menu here on these options. So WISP, which is a wireless ISP or a wireless local area network operator, uses wireless to provide access internet. WIPs can build their base station in a public place such as airport, hotel, and cafe to provide a wireless internet access services. User can surf the internet by logging to the wireless connected network. So WIPs configures the WAN port of the wireless access. So please use select access type DHCP, POP, or SRTIP to connect to the specific SSID. So if you want to configure WIPs, please make sure that you disconnect the WAN port to avoid loops. So click more, click basic, click repeater or WIPs, and click here. And choose the WAN detail that require, either DHCP, PoE, or static. And there will be prompt if there is a WAN port connected. So the device will remind you to unplug the cable first. So there is a parental control feature in this eWeb series. So you can control any time of the day some of the function in the eWeb series. So you choose endpoint, you can choose the MAC address of the device, you can choose the block time that you want, so that you can control any time of the day for parental control. So you can choose next. You can choose the time and the device. So here it's been chosen. The block time is on Wednesday, 9:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. So you can choose the time if you want to block a specific MAC address. You can add. Yeah, this is how you add weekdays or any other option of time or any additional MAC address you want to add. So you successfully created another rule for parental control. Last is the next one is the EST series, which is the wireless bridge. So it is a fixed assemble pole or mounting option. It's a very solid IP65 B0 and endure large range of temperature. So it is built for outdoors. It is a lifetime warranty for lifetime free Ruijie Cloud management. So in order to log in, it's either you use a wired web, you connect your device directly to the device. You use the same IP as before. Open the browser and enter the IP, and you can modify the password and enter the dashboard. The second option is you can access the device using the SSID, which by default available on that device. So Reyee b.xxx, where the xxx is the last 4-digit number of the MAC address. So it will assign you, it will move you to this page where you can see the EST is acting as AP. Here you can see the side menu. You can configure and you can see the alarm here. You can see the WAS group currently available, and this is the information that available in the front page of the EST. So you can show more detail on this device. You can see all the information available here, which is you can see the serial number, the firmware, and the uptime. So you can change the admin password by default. By default, the password is admin. You can change the password. Here's how you change the password. Click here, password. Then you can key in the new password. And then you can change the country code. Just note that after you change the region, the WS will be off, and then you'll be up to specific region. If you don't know the specific region channel settings, so just use auto channel instead. So here it is been set as China region. You can choose a series of country region available in this menu. So once you change the region, it will be disconnected. So during this time, the bridge cannot do any operation since it's been tuned to a new region settings. So there will be a confirmation whether do you want to proceed to change the region. So you can change the LAN setting. It supports DHCP and static, and by default it is DHCP. You can see here you can choose LAN. You can see the IP assignments either DHCP or static, and then you can save after choose your IP assignment. So you can choose you can change the SSID, and by default the encryption is WPA WPA to PSK. So here you can see you can change the SSID here in this menu, and you can change the channel or transmit power. So you can see you can check the interference. You can show the analysis of 5G channel, and you can choose which channel that you want. So you can choose the lowest interference available. So you can choose, after you choose, just click OK. So make sure by default is 40, since the EST LAN support only 100 meg. So the 100 megahertz is, sorry, 40 megahertz is enough. So here you can change the time and the NTP server. So time here under system tools, you can change the NTP server for synchronization. Next is the management, where you can is either backup or import the configuration file. You can reset the device, or you can set the session timeout in this menu. Next is for the point to multiple point setting, where you can change point to point settings. So to access the device, if the device is on AP mode, you need to switch to CPE mode. So how do you change the CPE mode? So choose your AP and change to CPE mode. So this will be reset and pair to the AP available. And then you can start. Choose the region that you set. And you can choose is either AP or CPE mode. So from the CPE mode, you can choose the SSID. So you can choose the AP SSID, then choose and then click OK to continue. So here you can see the CPE is connected to the AP. So from the AP point of view, it can see there is a 2 CPE connected to himself. So this is a point to multi-point. So you can see the topology in the dashboard, an overview of the actual topology. You can see the transmit rate, you can see the RSSI, and you can see the uptime. So here you can see more information or alarm available. For this one, WDS, we need to confirm whether there is no obstruction, or at least to make sure that there's no lake surface, water or fog in the area, because that one can impact the channel attenuation. So to make sure that the antenna polarization, the horizontal is 60, vertical 30 degrees, and the staggered distance between AP is about 1 meter, and the spacing between AP's horizontal angle is greater than 120. So beta should be more than 120. So how to troubleshoot if the WDS fail? So we have to make sure that if it is breached, we have to check the blinking of the RSS light. So if you need to check whether it's a breach. So by seeing the RSS light, is it blinking or not? So you can confirm with that. Number 2, you have to check on the working channel of the AP, confirm whether it is a DFS channel. And then lastly, we need to confirm the distance. Is it too far or not? So the RSSI, if the RSSI is about minus 65 dB, the 3 signal light will always on. If it's about 72 dB, it will get only 2 signal. 78 is 1 signal. If it's less than 78, so the 1 signal is the one light signal will flash. So if the number 4 occurs, which means the strength signal is very weak, the interference is moderate, so it can cause the negotiation rate very low. So these are the DFS channel. So you need to know where is the channel to choose. So the wedding channel complies with this integration must be silent for 10 minutes and it will impact on bridging exceeding 10 minutes. So note that the weather channel is 116 to 28. So these are the WDS channel. So to confirm the current channel interference source, you can see this interference. So this, as you can see here, you can check whether which channel has the lowest interference. It is recommended to use a fixed channel method and choose the best channel. So for EW troubleshooting, so if the EW unable to connect to internet, so you have to confirm whether if the internet is connected to the CP and the network cable is connected properly. So if the network cannot be connected, so you need to complete the EW quick setup before they can access the internet. So what happens if the EW unable to access the eWeb? So what we can do is to replace the Google Chrome and see if it can be open. So meaning you can choose other browser. Maybe you can use Mozilla or you can use Internet Explorer just to check whether if the eWeb if is a browser issue, or just double confirm that your PC is not change IP or DNS, because in order to reach the eWeb, you need to be on the same segment. So what happens if you press the button on the master, but the slave has no response? So you need to confirm the distance between the slave and the master. So it has to be less than 3 meters. Number 2, the master needs to finish the complete setup. Then start pairing. You can start pairing after the slave is factory default. So 2 things. First, the master needs to complete the setup. And number 2, the slave need to be restored. It need to be factory default. So, and make sure that you don't connect any cable on the network AP. So this network mesh router, you cannot connect any network port on the network port. So these are the frequent asked questions. What is the IP address for the SON network? So the IP address of the SON network is 10.54.77.253. So what is the between the default SSID at Ruijie-H or at Ruijie-M? So -M if is for the device that connected to the SON, where the -S is connected to the standalone device. So how to restore factory setting? So what you can do is hold the reset button for more than 5 seconds and release the button after the LED blinks. So after this, the device will be restored automatically as a factory settings. So how many CPE can support point to multi-point? So if you use a point to multi-point setup, you can support up to 5. So does the EST series support wireless coverage? So the EST only support bridge wireless. So what if you want to mesh the EW21200G Pro with the EW? So you can mesh two different EW. You can combine the mesh between EW. So how many devices you can recommend of a mesh EST? So you can mesh up to 5 devices. So if you are unable to log in to eWeb system, what should we do? So check the network cable is connected properly and the LED is steady. So before accessing any GUI, please make sure that IP is configured properly and the CP is assigned to the PC properly. If it is a static IP, make sure that the IP is the same as the PC and the device. And then run ping between PC and device to make sure that the connection is stable. So if you're still unable to log in, do a factory reset on the device. So that's it for wireless. I do have one more. Let me run through quick for the SON part. So for SON, is a auto discovery, auto network, and auto configuration features between routers, switches, and AP. Without the controller, without the need of controller or etc. So with these features, you can maintain or you can operate the entire network. So this will be easy for it will greatly reduce investment for equipment cost, labor cost, and time cost. So for SON, you can manage all of these network from the router, from the switches, and from the EP. So what is SON? So let me describe what is the advantage of SON. So usually it took hours to finish a network setup. Sometimes you forget configure one device out of all device. Sometimes it's difficult to make router, switches, and AP to talk each other. So with SON, you can save time, you can do auto discovery, and you can do minutes of configuration. So in SON, there is a few two service process. One is easy discovery. So easy discovery responsible for network discovery, master election, and notification. So it uses a proprietary protocol UDP port number 43561 and 43562 for communication. And MTTQ is responsible for collecting network equipment information for and the collection of the station information and the synchronization of configuration information. So MTTQ uses the standard protocol TCP port number 1883. So easy discovery. So each device has its own network ID, and the only device which the same network ID can be merged or can be added into a network. So if a device has a different network ID, should be merged before added to be the same network. And by default, the network ID is 0. So once the new device is being configured, it will get a new network ID, which is a non-zero ID. So here you can see a few scenario of SON for easy discovery. How easy discovery elect a role. For example, a master EG router receive a merge message, and then it become a slave. And then if it's lost connection or the device is restart, it will become unknown. So if the unknown is the device become unknown more than 3 consecutive cycles, it become another master. So it become master. So for example, if an unknown receive a join message, and then this unknown will become slaver. So if a slaver disconnected from the network or the device is restart, it become unknown. So if the AP device when port does not have IP or any people idle up, it will keep on become unknown. So what happened here, a device easy discovery packet has a declare packet where it broadcasts initial message, send priority to other network member. You also can send a reject. So if it is receiving a declare message according to election priority, if that priority is higher, it will reply reject. So if join is sent by the master and others init message receive the message, they will connect to the master and accordingly to the master information init. So conflict packet is a unicast packet where the master receive join message from other master, it cannot be resolved. So this is a conflict where master receive another join message from a master. Merge is when the master receive a join message from another master and merge other party network accordingly. So hello is a broadcast packet to all device. So to confirm the role status of the confirmed neighbor discovery. So master election rules. So priority is EG become master, and then EP, and then switch. And then the next one is the CPU device CPU memory or AP real number. And then the MAC address, if the priority is the same, when the priority is the same, the larger MAC address is the master. So how do they select master? Is when they select master, when this all device being initialized, and when this requirement meet, it will elect one master. So everybody will follow the master. So what happen if the master offline? Sorry. What happen if the master is offline? They will elect new master. So what is the mechanism for this? So if a device with a higher priority join a network, so the master will change and the new device will send a merge packet to a master device. So if within the AP network, if the master is already elected and then come a new EG, that EG will become master. So if this happen, the delay time for the EG to become master is about 7 to 8 seconds. So within the AP network, and if the master is already been elected and it comes in the new AP with a higher priority, so this preamp is being delayed. So what happened is the existing master has to be power on for 36 hours and the new device is powered for 5 minutes. So it will start after the device is powered on for 30 minutes. So for the AP and switch networking, after a master is selected, when the new EG is joined, so this new EG become the master device. Next, how you configure a new, this how you illustrate how opening of the SON. So by default, the network ID is 0. So once user configured everything, all the basic setup, you will get a network ID X. So this is a new network ID X. Comes a new network device with a network ID Y. You will send a merge request to the network ID X. Once it receives, it will merge these two, become network ID X. So it will merge, become a new SON. So how do we configure SON? So first, you need to download the Ruijie Cloud app and complete login and register an account. So create a project and then click Wi-Fi. Choose the SSID to connect. Then you can choose the Ruijie. There's no password. So it will detect the device within the SON, and you can see all the device in the network. You can start configure, and then you can choose a basic project name and management password. And this password, you need to meet this criteria. So there is a rule on creating a management password. So next, you can choose a project scenario. Here, they choose hotel. And there is a basic configuration for DHCP. So this one, they choose DHCP. And you can choose the SSID name. Here, the new SSID is being configured Reyee 123. And the radio is being chosen China. So wait for the configuration to be complete. Then you can see the Reyee SSID has already been created with no password. So you can connect to that new SSID. Here you can see the SSID in the network. So once you connect to the new SSID, you can run speed test if you want. So here you can see the device information in the Reyee Cloud app. You can see the parameter of the egress bandwidth or threshold in the app. So for easy discovery, you can see here on this first on the top here, and here you can see what is the device in the network. So what happens if there is a network conflict? So if there is a network conflict, they will prompt here other network. So you can choose whether to add this into the network, and then you can choose the password that you created just now to add that network into your network. So you can see it's already been added into the network. This is the new AP that has been added. So here you can see the device networking role. So here you can see the device role of this EG router is a master AC, and you can choose AP itself. You can see the AP, what is the role here is a slave. Also, you can see the client connected or device list of the STA information. So here you can see the AP connected here, and you also can see the client connected to those AP. So here you can see the client is a wired client. So Easy Discovery is responsible for network discovery, master election, and notification of master change. So MTTQ responsible to collect information and collect the information of STA and the synchronization of the configuration information. So next, we do some troubleshooting. So what happened if the network self-organization failed? So there are few ways to see the cause. So one is there is a multiple master. So you can see more than one Ruijie -M SSID. Number two, probably the layer 2 broadcast is failed. So what we should do if this happen, check whether the device is connected within the same network and merge those devices in the same network. Number two, probably there is a issue of configuration of VLAN and port isolation. And number three, you can check whether the SON is disabled. Next, what happens if the SON is succeed but you cannot connect to the online Ruijie Cloud? So you can see, we check whether the firmware is it the latest firmware, the configuration of the device, and the network between the device and Ruijie Cloud. Probably there is something in between. So first you can check the firmware should be the latest. If not, upgrade it. Number two, you can try to reset the device and then try to ping the URL of the device and check the DNS and the network. So next, you can see the frequent asked question of this SON. So what is the protocol of SON? So SON is based on the MTTQ protocol, belongs to the application layer. So does the SON change if the master is disconnected? So the configuration does not change when they re-elect a new master. So how to do the device discovery? So device discovery is based on the layer 2 broadcast. So all devices should be on the same layer without VLAN or port isolation. So does the ES series support SON as master? So unfortunately, ES does not support as a SON master. So how master add a new device to its network? So when the new device status is 0, the master will automatically add them into its network. So these are the most frequent asked question for this SON. In that note, That's it from my end. I think these are the 4 topics that I want to cover today. So one is EG router. Number 2 is the ES switch. Number 3 is the AP, wireless AP. And number 4 is the SON. So I noticed there is a question in the chat, and I will reply this question through email. I will do a summary, and I will share again the link for the material for this session today. So thank you so much for participating in this training today, and I hope you can try to sit for the RSE-Reyee exam. So thank you so much, and
Okay.
if anything, you can contact me. Thank you.
Thank you, Elman. So for now, I will teach you how to